Good afternoon on what is a warm, grey and cloudy day. It is Friday the 17th of May and I'm in the reading Nook with a nice hot cup of tea and a parcel to unbox. Let's open. Oh, I've got another package within a package, so it comes out. And then a bit more packaging. I'm just trying to get to it. Let's get the knife. You're going to have to be slightly careful. Okay, so, oh, that's not. It's a bit more tightly packed in than I. Just trying to avoid slicing A, my fingers, or B, the book. Because if I can get at the actual book, here we go. What I have is a genuine piece of role-playing history. This is Volume 1 of Bifrost, the first role-playing game published in the United Kingdom, 1977 by Skytrex Limited UK, part 1 of 4 books. So now I have that terrible task of being on the lookout for the other 3 books. And so I recently got hold of a copy of Heroes. The role-playing game came out in the same year as Warhammer Fantasy Battle, or Warhammer Fantasy Battle, the role-playing game. But this came out 6 years earlier, and sort of like disappeared into history a bit. There are a couple of reviews here and there, and I sort of like vaguely only heard of it sort of later on, I suppose in the past decade or so, something like that. And I expected never, ever, ever, ever to see a copy. And you occasionally do like a search on eBay, and I actually had a search set up on it, just on do occasionally check it, and this popped up. Now I have seen previous copies of this go for £150. I paid a third of that, and was very glad to do so. So, there we go. I've got an introduction, this is the first volume of 3 to be published at approximately bi-monthly intervals. The 3 booklets together will enable players to create a complete fantasy world. So this is all about character creation, as far as I'm told. It doesn't have anything about how you roll, how you play the game. But anyway, we have description of limitations of the rules, organisation of the game and rules, type of games and so on, and what you're going to kind of be playing. And remember, this only came out 3 years. 3 years after the release of Dungeons and Dragons. There had only been a handful of role-playing games published by this, so basically you're talking probably 20, if that. But, you know, it's not badly done. It's not terrible. When we get on to some of the artwork, it's okay. Get on to the characters and how they're made. And it looks a bit complex. I mean, it probably isn't, but the layout isn't helping, and the density of text isn't helping. I mean, there's an explanation of sort of like some of the stats on the table, and you're going, what do I do with that table? Hopefully there'll be an example of play. And here we have, basically one example of character creation. I mean, so we actually have an example of character determination, which is what they're calling a creation process, individual abilities presented, So that does include constitution, health, dexterity, sight, hearing, touch, smell, reaction, size, intellect, reason, observation, intuition, instinct, concentration. That's an awful lot of player abilities, wisdom, inspiration, and memory. That's a lot. We've got section on alignment, because hey, role-playing games have alignment. And there was basically complete having alignment all the way up to now for certain games. No longer sort of necessary. But you remember at that time, role-playing games were heavily influenced by Dungeons and Dragons, because it was the #1 role-playing game of the time, just as it is today. But we have a greater choice of other role-playing games. Back then, publishers and designers didn't. So they would, weren't so much designing. They were doing two things: designing two new things and designing things off Dungeons and Dragons. Going, I can do better than that. And then sort of like we have Godsey, Goddessy, and the fate of Hand of Fate. So looking at faith in a bit, prayer, and crawling prayers, methods of negating black marks, all the way up to battles between the gods. Okay, social position. Prices and equipment. Just, yeah, fantastic. Just looking at this. And then map movement. And then you've got a section on map symbols to use. A couple of pages of that. Then we go on to campaign survival. Basically how they can survive over time. Fatigue, how that's handled. Of course, the thing is, without the actual sort of like mechanics of the game, so you've got all the fatigue results of different activities, but without necessarily having a core mechanic. Rest and sleep, and so on, and food and drink, useful for this. And then, of course, we go on to disease and illness in different places, urban, rural, and the like, and the effects of possible illnesses. Just but might have access to healing potions, and then necessarily you might sort of like face death from wounds or suffer mortal effects, long-term effects of wounds, unless you're fortunate to run into a doctor. The incident type location tables, so this is going to be your encounter tables. So yeah, wilderness creature group tables. So I'm going to flip past through those because obviously there's quite a lot of those. So this section is all about, so that's page 43, 44 through to 57. So that's all about encounter tables. And then we have incidents involving men. So this is the type of men you can encounter. Including, starting with always basically with warriors and adventurers, lords and retainers, mercenaries, barbarians, knights, robbers, wizards, merchants, priests, etc. They're all very kind of classic fantasy. The effect of alignment on non-player humans in different areas, basically looking more like those encounter tables. Then we've got men characteristics tables. Basically, so you've got the stats for those characters, and then morale and reaction. So you've got initial reaction, and then subsequent reaction, presumably. weather, and possibility of getting lost. We've got tables for play sheets. We've got a weather cycle sheet, and then progression and advancement at the end. So that's an interesting piece of history. I mean, look forward to digging into this in greater detail and keeping my eye out for the subsequent volumes, because obviously it's not complete as is. Yeah. Wow, I'm kind of going, you know, I've got one of the rarest items of role-playing history right here. I'm really looking forward to reading them and writing about them. Anyway, thanks for watching another unboxing in the Nook. If you enjoyed this, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you take the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be able to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a package containing a book or game on, in this case, what is a 43-year-old role-playing book, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.